Hello, everyone. This is your main man Blackfoot, and I hope everyone out there is feeling fine today. You guys and girls, do me a favor and hit that like button; it would be greatly appreciated, as well as that subscribing button because I'm about to push your wig way back. So, without further ado, let's dive on in. Jimmy the Cricket. As you can see right here, I have on your screen. He played in the movie or animation called Pinocchio, but he's also known as Jesus Christ, Pinocchio's conscience. Now, I know you may have a hard time believing that, but I'm about to show it to you in one brief moment. But before I do that, I want to show you what is going on here with Jimmy the Cricket and the movie Pinocchio's in itself, right? There's a consciousness of what's going on, right? Two type of consciousness what's going on, or ideology. One is the Christian aspects of it, which is faith value, but then there's the deeper part of it, which is the Old Testament uh, ideology of looking at it. And I want to show you both sides of it, but there will be a part two with that. So without further ado, let me just give you a little bit of a sidebar with something right here, okay? Now, have you guys seen this movie before? Or have you heard of it before? It's called Firefox, and this is a great movie. I highly recommend that you go see this here. Here, Clint Eastwood plays a Air Force pilot, but the CIA and the Americans want this plane that the Russians have built, and it's called Firefox. Now, it's not just a simple military plane; it's a thought-controlled patterning weapon that must be thought in Russian to activate its thought patterning release weaponized trigger, right? It gives you a 5 to 10 or 2 to 3 second jump on pulling the trigger with your finger. So when you have a thought pattern, thought control firing mechanism, you get the jump on your enemy in a plane, and it means a whole lot. 2 to 3 seconds, you know, give you the jump or the edge on something, right? So that is what I want you to think about. What's going on with Pinocchio's and Jimmy the Cricket here? There's a thought pattern on what you need to understand what's going on with Pinocchio. But that's how deep it is. If you really want to go down the rabbit hole with Pinocchio and the deeper consciousness of the author and what Pinocchio means to us today. So here you have Pinocchio. He takes on different forms throughout the year. You know, this is the original Pinocchio, and he transform. All depends on the author and who's making a movie. You know, all depends about the money, right? But what hasn't changed is his so-called consciousness of being Jesus Christ. And I'm about to show you that in 1 minute. So here's the author of Pinocchio. His name is Carlos Colidini. He's Italian. I'm not going to go through his bio, but he's a learned man from a theological Christianity thought pattern. Here, hold on here. Keep moving here. Okay. He has the Christianity thought pattern where he has learned a lot of his ministry from here, and he didn't want to become a priest. So right there, he didn't want to become a priest, so he continued his education at this school in Florence, Italy. So after a while, he hold on here. So he ended up working at a bookstore, and then after a while, inevitably, he joined the military here, the Italian War of Independence. And as you can see here, by the dates of 1848 to 1861, here you have the Civil War was going on in America, right? So he found his calling here in the political matters of writing satire, newspaper, of telling the political aspects what's going on in a more humorous or jokey type of way. And this is where his calling at. Finding pseudonyms. He got the background of his name as a pseudonym, where his mom was his mom's hometown, and he started writing political papers. But then after a while, he got tired of that, and he transformed that into translating the French fairy tales into Italian, and still continue his political satire with that, even from a children book to get children to understand what is going on in political realm, as well as the religious aspects of it, because this is where Jimmy the Cricket kicks in and Pinocchio, right? Here, Jimmy the Cricket Here. Here is Jimmy the Cricket and where his name came from. Jimmy the Cricket, along with other variants, Jimmy Christmas, Jimmy the Cricket, have been used in men's oaths, meaning euphemisms, uh, misplacing words in front of words that is considered blasphemous, like gosh for God or fudge for fuck, as you can see right here. So Jimmy the Cricket or Jimmy the Jesus Christ Cricket takes form of Pinocchio's consciousness, and I'm about to show it to you right here. All right, the role of Pinocchio here. You can read it for yourself, and I'm going to speed read it a little bit here. Get that out the way. Here you have Jimmy the Cricket. He began narrating the story at Geppetto House. I'm sorry, I hope I pronounced this wrong, but there he witnessed the Blue Fairy, who gave Pinocchio life. Right. So Blue Fairy uh, gave Jimmy the Jesus Christ Cricket to be his conscience here. Right. So he is there to guide Pinocchio and to determine what is good and evil. Now, you can see that. You can go right to Genesis, how you have the Most High telling Adam and Eve, hey, be careful of the tree of good and evil. Now, here you have the author, or this Blue Fairy right here, is giving that task to Jimmy the Jesus Christ Cricket, right? So the next day, Pinocchio is convinced. He is convinced by two con men, who's that good and evil, right? Who supposed to be Jesus, the Jimmy Christ Cricket, supposed to be watching out for these guys, supposed to be telling Pinocchio, right? Now, so telling them, Honest John and Galeon telling, Pinocchio not to go to school to become an artist. So he didn't listen to them. So they end up selling Pinocchio to this guy right here, a puppeteer. And this guy right here, he put Pinocchio in a cage, but Jimmy the Jesus Christ Cricket couldn't get him out without success. So the Blue Fairy, who gave life to Pinocchio, ended up freeing him. Now, he ended up free, so Pinocchio, then Jimmy the Jesus Christ Cricket, they returned home, by the way, and was tricked again by Honest John and Gideon, who convinced him to go to Pleasure Island, right? This is a fascinating place. Like I said, this is going to be a part 2. Now, Pleasure Place is something very interesting, and I will leave that up to you to decide on what that is, because it is very interesting. It's a place where kids do whatever they want, no matter how bad they are. And Jimmy tries to get Pinocchio to leave that place, but Pinocchio ignores it, and he wants to stay with Lampwick, right? Lampwick. Now, in the scripture here, all this stuff, I want you to imagine that it's taking place in Genesis, but Lampwick, the menorah, right? So Lampwick, a boy who convinces Pinocchio to do wrong things. And he also makes fun of Jimmy the Jesus Christ Cricket, who angrily leaves that place. I got to hurry up because my battery is running out. Like I said, it's going to be a part 2. So Jimmy the Jesus Christ Cricket, he leaves that place. But however, Jimmy the Jesus Christ Cricket noticed that the children was turning to donkeys, slaves. So he grabbed Pinocchio and also Lampwick, and they leave that place before they turned into donkeys, right? So make a long story short, if you go down here, they both return home to find out that his father, Geppetto, who made Pinocchio, they was looking for him. He was looking for him. So Pinocchio his father thought Pinocchio was in Pleasure Island, so he get on the boat, and this whale come and swallow him up, right? Where we get that from? Noah, right? I'm sorry, not Noah, but Jonah get swallowed up by a whale or whatnot, fish. So anyway, he walks on this beach. Pinocchio gets swallowed up along with his father and Jimmy the Jesus Christ Cricket. He's on his shore looking for them. And so he find a whale, and so he's trying to get the whale to open up its mouth. Eventually, the whale opened up his mouth, and he spits out Pinocchio and his father. And the Blue Fairy for all he have done, made Pinocchio into a real boy. Now that is just the tiny essence of what is happening right here, right? And you must realize there's a lot of things is what's happening here. And if you guys can get that, you will understand what I'm saying. That there's two trains of thoughts with this author here. And what is he saying? You know, what exactly is he saying about Pinocchio? What is he saying about his nose when he tell a lie? You know, what about this pleasure island, this toy island that they can do no wrong here? You know, this is a fantasy island that they always go to, and they get transported by this chariot here, and they transform into donkeys. You know, what is he? This is Candlewick, right? What is he saying? What is this Arthur is really trying to tell us? You know, why don't you think on that? Because comment, you know, because it's a very heavy and interesting story with Pinocchio. You know, very interesting story, and I just gave you a little glimpse of it. Tell me what you think. You know, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about Jimmy, the Jesus Christ Cricket. You know, I just showed you without a doubt that's who he is. That's who the author creator referenced him to. Good and evil, those plays. You know, his consciousness, Toyland, Pleasure Land, being turned into donkeys. Fascinating, I must say. Very deep story too. But who is the real Pinocchio? And why is his nose always stretching out when he lies or when he's agitated? Fascinating. Thank you so much for your time. Bye-bye.